Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron. I hope you're having a great day or night in Jesus. The History of Christianity, Volume 1 by Kurt Aland. He that's head of the Institute of Biblical Studies in Munster, Germany, after he escaped from communist Germany in 1958. And he just brings a lot of knowledge to bear on many subjects. I would disagree with him on his understanding of biblical text and these type things, but on other subjects he tends to be really good. So this is one of the better single volume church histories, going from the time from the beginnings to the Reformation. Of course, Kenneth Scott Latourette, that was really my first exposure to church history. I loved it. I would like reread it, just loved that. And then, of course, Jaroslav Pelikan, W.H.C. Friend, Roland Baton. There's many others that are out there that are just Williston Walker, Mosheim, that are great in that subject as well. But I'm going to read just a little bit. He just has a grasp of a lot of different issues that are going on. So he says around 150, the third stage of development begins, in which the formation of the canon as such sets in. Everything which takes place before 150 is only a preparatory step to this. The canon of the four Gospels is organized. The epistles attain a status which is equivalent in principle, but not in practice. Now, around 200, the fourth stage is reached with Irenaeus, Tertullian, and Clement of Alexandria. Now, I would totally disagree with that. That's what I said when he's talking about the Bible, of course. Peter said that the epistles of Paul were already scripture, read them, they were being passed around, and even pagans knew about them. So that's what I said. You know, you have to just be careful. But on so many other subjects, he has really got it. Internal history of early Christianity, this is page 87. He said, if we attempt to summarize the internal development of Christianity in the early centuries, we discover a decisive turning point in the second half of the second century. Second century is not only a watershed, it's also something decisive for the development of the Christian church. In a manner of speaking, what comes before the end of the second century can be called the prehistoric age of Christianity. Up until the middle of the second century and even later, Christians did not live in and for the present, but they lived in and for the future. And this was in such a way that the future flowed into the present, so that the future and the present became one, a future which always stood under the sign of the Lord's presence. It was confident expectation of the first generations that the end of the world was not only near, but it had really already come. And explaining what he means by that is interesting, upon whom the ends of the world have come. They did live with an expectation, and in some ways I would agree with him that before 150, even though there were corruptions in the church, even in the early New Testament, these didn't largely become codified till time of Tertullian, where he admits, when he's trying to use Trinitarian language, that most people don't believe in the Trinity, they call themselves Christian, and they have a rule of faith that says they're forbidden to. Of course, the Trinity is never mentioned in the New Testament, hinted at. Many times it's given obvious, what do I need to do to be saved? Believe in it. I mean, just never there. It's never there, for many decades till you get to the end of the hundreds AD. And so a book like this, I would recommend it for your library. It's great to have. Maybe sit and read it. It's got a good little, like a time period at the back. And chronological table. So just the text itself, 413, it's translated by James L. Schaff as well, which I wonder if that's like Philip Schaff's son or something, or grandson. He's got another good church history. Sheldon's got another good church history. It's put out by Fortress Press. Traditionally, that is Lutheran. There was just so much here. The worship services were continually increased, and Messene, the literary was sung day and night by more than 100 clergy and choristers. After 1508, in the small town of Wittenberg, Martin Luther had a diameter of 10,000. There were almost 10,000 masses said annually. At that time, Wittenberg had a diameter of a few hundred yards. If one walks from Luther's home to the castle church, even at slowest pace, it takes only 10 minutes. So 10,000 masses a year going on in Wittenberg, and it's just a few hundred yards. Just kind of lets you see what Catholicism was in Europe. And I love tidbits of information like that, chronological tables in the back. So a little over 400 pages, and then chronological tables, just really good. So God Bless a history of Christianity by Kurt Island, Fortress Press. See you later. Bye-bye.